Welcome back to Healing Mindset. I am Nazish, and before we dive in today, I want to speak directly to anyone who has ever felt like they are working so hard, showing up, pushing, trying, yet the life they want still feels just out of reach. Maybe you have asked yourself, if I'm doing everything right, why don't I feel fulfilled? Or why does success feel close but not quite mine? If that landed in your head, tonight's conversation is for you. We are joined by phenomenal Danielle Keasling, award-winning celebrity hairstylist, serial entrepreneur, by biohacking enthusiast, and the powerhouse behind Hairbiz and beyond another million miles. Daniel's journey is a masterclass in reinvention from beauty to business to mindset mastery. She has lived the truth what we manifest begins in mind long before it appears in our life. Tonight, we are talking about manifesting from clarity, building from authenticity, and rewiring the mind so that the life you are living finally matches the life you feel called to. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is definitely a passion of mine, so I'm happy to be here.
I am happy to have you here. Daniel, when you think about mindset as a foundation of manifesting, what core belief do you feel someone must shift before anything else can change?
It's interesting because I think that people that are grounded in manifesting, like they understand it and we can have really great conversations about it. But the people that haven't experimented or haven't had the privilege, to be honest with you, of like being around people that can teach them about manifesting and the law of attraction. I think sometimes feel like it's like woo woo, like, oh, what? I'm going to manifest $1 million under my bed and I'm going to, crawl over my bed and look in the morning and it's going to be there. And that's not how it works. It's a process, but what it is it's a way of living. And I think that when you start living as if you had everything you want and you are routinely putting yourself in actions that might feel uncomfortable for you at the time, but you would see yourself doing every day if you were in a completely comfortable financial situation. I'm just saying, like maybe, you go to lunch and you take that extra hour and you go stroll on the beach and you're sitting there going, I got to get back to work. I got to get back to work. But like in reality, if you were, well off, you would maybe be able to do that for yourself. So it's literally living the life as if it is already yours, in my opinion. And the more that I have done that in my life, the more the universe brings back to me tenfold. Like I'm so lucky. Like I sit and I think about, I'm 45 years old. I'm a single female entrepreneur. I live in a beautiful house in South Carolina. I drive my dream car. I have an awesome jobs. But it's not luck. It's hard work. It just doesn't, like, you don't just like think about it and it happens, but it is putting yourself in that mindset of, what does that feel like? And how does that reflect the way that I walk through life every single day and what that looks like? And I think that's the biggest thing that people have to understand and take baby steps into. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. I didn't get here overnight. I was just talking about mindset on a podcast yesterday, and one of the realizations that I've had in my 40s is that I've manifested my whole entire life. I just didn't know what manifestation was because I was privileged enough to grow up in a family that, and not every family is perfect. My family is far from perfect, but I had a father who basically would just like subconsciously or tell me consciously all the time, like, if you can dream it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. And that was just a standard way of growing up for me, and that's what I believed. And, I think back on that and I'm like, wow, that was like, I don't even he never even talked about manifestation or manifesting. He was just like being like dad of the year and saying, if you can dream it, you can do it. And I really grew up with that mindset. I really grew up thinking that. And I think that I didn't know what that was at the time, but now that I'm an adult and I'm, like, able to coach other people to do what they wanna do and build their dreams, it's been very apparent to me that, we subconsciously have so many thoughts, whether they're negative or positive from, childhood and ancestry and all the other things, but some of those are really positive, and that is one of them for me, is I'm like, "Wow, I've probably been doing this my entire life."
That is so powerful and so beautiful. And I love how you made it clear and simple. It gives listeners permission to, start with belief and not burnout. And the part where you said that if you can dream it, you can do it. That is very, very motivating for many of us tonight. So,
Yeah, and
so was there a moment in your entrepreneurial journey when shifting that one belief created a dramatic breakthrough?
yeah, all of them. But so I'm big into vision boarding,
Okay.
um, because I'm a visual person, and I'm also big into, and I also think that some people will call it a vision board. Some people will say it's a goal sheet, right? Like I talk about goals and vision all the time, and I think they kinda go hand in hand, and, like, I think it's just some people are visual and some people are audible and some people, like, neither they don't operate either of those ways, and so I think that you have to, like, figure out what how you learn and how you're programmed, and so I have a vision board, of, like, just things that I want to bring into my life, but I also am a goal setter, so, like, I have a vision board that's materialistic and or representative of, like, vacations or actions or relationships or, things like of that nature, but then I also have a goal, like, sheet, like, that I believe in you having to set goals, and because if you don't have goals, y how are you gonna propel yourself forward? And, you know it's very interesting because running a coaching business and, it's the first question I ask is like, "What are your goals?" And most people can't answer that. It's incredible, and I'm like, "Why did you call me? Why are you investing money if you don't even know what you wanna do?" And, it's like getting them to, like, get to that is, like, a lot. So, I think goals early in my career where I wanted to what I wanted to achieve was, like, big, and what I was finding is I was reaching those goals faster than I was resetting the next one. So, like, I always have a year goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, and meant multiple, depending on the situation, and I was just, like, flying through them at one point in my career. It was like, and it was weird because personally, it was the roughest moment of my life. I was going through a divorce. I was in a really mentally and got to be physically abusive relationship. Um, but I was at the highest point of my career and winning like tons of awards and like getting positions that were on my goal sheet. And it was an interesting time emotionally because I'm like, I don't know how to pray right now. Like, I am the whole world at home and personally as being like tore up and turned upside down. And then on the career side of things, I was just booming, and like I was in the spot. So like, of course I kind of a known, and it was an interesting time for me though, because I had to stay focused, and that's how I stayed focused was like, okay, maybe I can't handle like all of the things that I should be handling at home right now. And I'm just going to have to get through this like point in my life. But like what I have control over is I have control over my mindset and how I choose to like be in this present moment and show up in this present moment. And what can I control in this present moment? So, I think it's really important. I think, having a vision and just writing down, even if it sounds ridiculous to you, like at that moment, like just write it down on paper and revisit it because I'm telling you, i- reach for the stars because it might seem like, we're so hard on ourselves as human beings. And you're like, I don't know if I could ever do that. Yeah, you can. You can. You can.
That is that is amazing. So, like this goal that you're talking about, how do you differentiate between an aligned manifestation and a goal driven purely by pressure or ego?
It's
And a goal which is driven purely by ego and pressure.
okay. Um, so ego, that's a great question. Um, I think you have to take a look inward. So align manifestation versus like ego and uh yeah, I I, I think ego.
Yeah.
We Ooh. I think ego is an insecurity and I think that um you know, I think vulnerability is aligned system. I think that like when you let your ego get in the way of aligned manifestation, you're holding yourself back from what the universe actually wants to provide for you because the universe is providing, right? But like it can't just shove it in your fist. Like you have to be open to it and you have to know when to step through that portal. And I thought the ego is what gets in the way. The ego is what holds us back as people.
That is very much understandable and very much real. Ego is very much of your and of anybody's insecurity. So, have you ever pursued something that looked right on the outside but didn't feel aligned within?
Oh yeah. I do. I am yeah. We're gonna make mistakes. We're human beings. Um, I think that yeah, you'd be crazy to think you're gonna walk through life making all of the right choices. And, you know, if we how boring would life be if we knew what was gonna happen, right? And you you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make bad decisions. I freaking make I've made a ton of bad decisions. I mean, I've made bad decisions in marriage. I've made bad decisions in business partnerships. I've made bad decisions. I'm a pretty good decision maker when it comes to like other people's stuff. Like businesses that I work for. But when it comes to my own stuff, I've made a lot of poor decisions and I've paid for them. And but what I can tell you is like I don't regret I don't think I regret any of them. I think that I've learned so much from each of the situations and I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go through those things. So I think that, like this manifestation is not a perfect path to like anything. Um, but you can't give up. And, you know, people would say, like, I'll just give you an example right now. Like, I am, and this is like relatable, right? I am at the end of my year with my brands. We all have to get negotiated contracts. I have 5 of them. Like nothing's signed. So I don't know what's gonna happen in 2026, right? And I am I'm getting work done on my house right now. Like, does it have to be no. Is it completely aesthetic and makes me feel good because I've been spending more time at home? 110%. And why do I do that when, like, when I'm unsure of what's coming in 2026 financially? Because the way that my industry works is I basically am re-signing contracts every year. And I'm like, why not? Because for whatever happens, the universe is gonna bring me something that needs to fill that void anyways. I just have to be open to it. And so the people like are like, you know, what if our contract or what if this and whatever. I'm like, oh, I don't really think about that stuff. Like, I'll figure it out. There's always, this is a small little life we have. Like, I'm 45. I got lots of years to live. I will figure it out, you know?
That is amazing. And the best part is that you make decisions and that they make you grow, even if they're right or they're wrong, which is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So, like, you are a very successful entrepreneur. What I have known from many of entrepreneur, what I have heard of it, what I have seen is they struggle with clarity when manifesting. Many entrepreneurs struggle with clarity when they're manifesting. What practical mindset technique helps you cut through that noise and return back to your inner compass?
I envision it to be true. Like, I have a very visual mind. It's probably a little bit of my background, but, like, examples are always easy to relate to. Like, I know that I won't always be here in this house that I live in. I love this house, and I'm, like, making this house beautiful, but, like, I know that one day I wanna be in probably Bali, and so I think about it, like, all the time, and I tell people, like, I make jokes about it, and it's not really jokes, like, I just had a realtor come over and offer me, like he's like, I know your house isn't for sale, but I'd love to, like, take a look at it. I have people that, like, would be interested in it." And I said, "Okay," and my friend was like, "What are you doing? Like, you're not gonna sell your house." And I'm like, "You never know." I was like, "I mean, what if me showing this house, like, ends up bringing in some ridiculously wealthy person that just wants to walk into this house and, like, turnkey it and doesn't care about money?" And, like, I don't know that. Like, I keep myself way open, like, open to all possibilities. So
Life is unpredictable.
life is unpredictable and we're never guaranteed tomorrow. So, like, I live in the present moment. Like, I don't get wrapped up about, like, well, what if, what if this? And my ex business partner was like that. And it drove me crazy. And that's why we're not business partners anymore. Cause I was like, I don't care what if. Like, what if? We'll figure it out. Like, it's gonna be fine, And it's so I think, really living, visualizing, like, what is it that you want? What is it that your goals are? That's I guess where a manifestation board could be really helpful. Is like my manifestation board has my like dream house on the beach in Bali, and even things that it's not the end game. It has my car on it, and I have that car now. Like, that car has been sitting on the manifestation board for years. Guess what? The car's downstairs in the driveway now. So it's like, you know, it it does work.
I can believe it does work. And the way you talk about your intuition getting into action, I am very sure that it is going to help a lot of people who are listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah, I love it. All I can say is like, believe it. Believe it is. Believe it's for you. Believe it is already true. Visualize it, think it, say it. It's wild.
I can believe it. And life is unpredictable. There's a lot that is going to happen, and there is a lot that is waiting for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a space in my I've been in the beauty industry for 26 years. I'm doing things now with partners of mine that have nothing to do with the beauty industry. And I'm like, game. Sure, I'll learn about Amazon. Like, I don't think so. I'm like, what am I doing? It's like, and but you just never know. And that's the beauty of life. And it would be so boring if you just didn't, like, let opportunity come in and just, be open to it. I mean, I've done some crazy things and lost a lot of time. I sat on an advisory board for a beverage company one time that was targeting yoga practitioners, and it was cool. I got to learn so much. Did anything come of it? No. Did I finally just the company kinda just dissolved, and I was like, "Okay, well, that was a waste of time," but it wasn't a waste of time because I learned. I, like, learned so many things about people and conversations and strategy, and, like, I don't look at it as a waste of time. I look at it as, like, that was a learning experience.
That is beautiful. And your insight, whatever you have told our listeners today, really shows us that new chapter begins the moment we stop counting ourselves out.
Correct. So
So, Daniel, before we wrap this up, for our listeners who want to explore your programs, follow your journey, and learn more about mindset and manifesting, where can they find you?
I'm on all the social media platforms. Another Million Miles is really kind of my platform that I talk about mindset and manifestation. It's a consumer focused platform. I mean, I still talk about like biohacking and beauty and all that stuff on there, but that's my main go-to when it comes to that. And then I have Hair Biz and Beyond and my name, Danielle Keasling. And I have websites for all three and social media accounts for all three. And I'm most active or, I have more of a reputation on the Danielle Keasling everything because that's my name and that's the beauty industry of 20 years. But yeah, any three of those areas and direct message me if you ever want more help because I've met so many amazing people like yourself by doing podcasts and I just think it's a beautiful the world's magic.
That is amazing, and I definitely will remember to include all these detail into the our show notes. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us into this deeply empowering conversation. Your wisdom reminds us that when mindset means intention and ambition means alignment, the life we envision stop becoming a dream and becoming a reality. So, if something resonated today, let it be the spark that pushes you to manifest boldly, build authentically, and walk into your next chapter with confidence. Your transformation begins with one belief: you are worthy of life you're calling in. I am Nazish, and this is Healing Mindset. Until next time, keep believing, keep becoming, and keep leading with your healing mindset.